Yeah, tell me something about the positive, the good things that after the regional plan proposes for Goa.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time actually India is having almost a full-scale participative plan where the people will be involved in actually deciding their future. It's only happened really in Kerala and in West Bengal to some extent of the people getting involved in actually planning their future. We've decided that it must go to the people because the 73rd and 74th Amendment actually states that planning should go to the people, spatial planning should go to the people. So in preparing this new regional plan, we said that all we will do as a top-down process is really create a framework in which people have a base knowledge of what exists in the thing, where their settlement areas are, where their green areas are, and based on that thing, give them the basic statistics that was there, but whatever is available from the government to them, give them a basic guideline as to what the thrust of development and everything should be, what we think through professionals, through initial stakeholder meetings. We had meetings with industry, we had meetings with NGOs, we had meetings with individual people, meetings with MLAs during the task force before we formulated this draft plan, asking them what their vision for Goa is and what they would like to see Goa happening. So there were all those inputs have really come together in preparing this draft plan. This has been taken forward to the people, and they will then see what is really good for them, decide, whether it's industrial development, mining, housing developments, understand what's happening to the state, the pros and cons of it, tourism, and then decide how they see their villages or the municipalities growing.
So it seems to encourage people to participate in the planning process from the village level upwards, as you said. But there is so much confusion in the people's minds as they are trying to answer the questionnaire, wrong mapping, misplaced priority, inaccurate data.
The task force, our hands are bound really in terms of what data the government had in hand to give us. We asked, for example, on GIS mapping, which is really, mapping which is very accurate in data. You get all the data you need to, where your subsoil water is, your soil types, very accurate plotting of all your roads. All this should have been really there for the mapping. We plotted what we had, what was available from the government, from the Survey of India, through Google Maps, the Irrigation Department, PWD. All these were overlaid. There were a lot of disparities from one layer of map to the next layer of map. But one plotted to the best of our abilities. But still there are errors, in the mapping system. So, and that's one of the reasons actually why the mapping has gone down to the village people. So the village can actually look at it. They know the ground reality much better than the town planning department, the irrigation department, PWD. They know where exactly the road is going. They know the nature of the land. And they're able to correct these maps in the first stage, where they first correct these maps and say, okay, fine, this is actually the road alignment, this is actually orchard area, or forest, or field, or settlement area. Plot that accurately, survey number wise, and then take it forward. Put their aspirations on top of the plan, where they'd like to see development, what sort of development, how they'd like to see their green spaces. Certain villages have decided, the orchard areas, the community areas, instead of just keeping it as orchards, they'd like to preserve it for future generations, or mark it as forests. So all these things are slowly being put into the plan where people participate. So the real handicap that we had of bad mapping can be corrected at village level, where people can come forward, understand the things. Sometimes statistics of how villages grow, what their population is, are also wrong. They come from the statistics department. So all these can be corrected because the villages know exactly what's happening at village level. And in fact, planning over here is going down to ward level, where it's an even smaller unit. So people from the ward are able to assess that, okay, I know all the people in my ward there. So these people can actually, they have, so much of infrastructure, road, where things are happening, what's really affecting them. And all that can be put down in their understanding of the ward and how they'd like to see their ward in relationship to their village, how they'd like to see their village in relationship to the taluka. All this can be commented upon there. The people are also required to actually go through the regional plan and understand the broader picture of Goa. Ever so often we tend to look only at what's around us. We're only concerned about, as you said, what's happening in my backyard, sort of thing. But we need to look, well beyond our backyards, well beyond even our villages, and see the total picture of Goa. Is the airport okay? Is mining okay? Is tourism okay? What's happening to development? This whole issue of, say, mega housing. What are the real reasons behind this sort of debate and opposition to it. So people need to understand that development is needed in the state, but how do we have good development? So that's really what's coming on board. And people from all sides need to come on board. So whether it's not just people who say want to preserve Goa for nostalgic sake. Goa needs to develop. It needs economic impetus, and so it needs the business people also to come on board. And business people need to understand what the needs of the people are, how to preserve the environment. So it's really it's a partnership between the people, between financing companies, business houses, to come and say this is how we can actually take Goa forward. And unless that happens, there'll be this constant conflict. And then here's a great opportunity where at an early stage itself, each one understands each other and really is able to take it forward.
But with the problems that are what we encounter every day, you know, all that corruption going at various levels, consistently, how do you foresee this plan or the suggestions that people put forward, all that exercise which is been gone through, like will it succeed? Or?
I see a very exciting potential. I mean, the ward committees that are finding, and most of the villages where we've met like ward committees, they've been very excited. They've come on board, especially in villages where one has had a corrupt panchayat or panchayat which is been involved in bad development and things. There've been new fresh people come on board, and they're taking charge of what the village. They'd like to see their village do well, not have these illegal developments, prosper at the same time, and they're able to address issues like corruption, illegal construction. So these ward committees that are being newly formed, who have people in it who are really concerned about the village, should really be morphing into a monitoring committee. After all the effort that they've been putting together needs to have fruition. So it needs to be seen that whatever they've put together needs to be monitored and see that it's policed in a way that it doesn't fall apart by whatever corrupt people in the panchayat or corrupt politicians who push their way through. So it's a great opportunity for these ward committees to actually morph into monitoring committees, development committees that act in a positive way for the village. I agree, corruption is rampant in Goa, and it's really sad to see this thing happening at all levels, right, from the smallest level to the highest level in Goa. But I think through this people's participative process, through the Right to Information Act, we do have a great chance, and I think we must make use of it at this point of time.
Wherever you have given a talks, awareness, meetings, or workshops, or people are really lucky, at least they came across knowledge on grassroots level planning. But there are many villages, I think, who have not had access to.
I think I agree. There are a lot of villages, especially in the interior, which have not had. There are various groups which are coming together, like the consumer cell is now, is galvanizing support from all villages. They're coming together, trying to understand what is needed in the plan, empower the people with knowledge of what the plan is all about, and take it forward. There are a lot of difficulties in the village. The villages are not getting adequate support in terms of mapping, in terms of technical people to actually help them map with their roadway to understand, what's happening in terms of the status, the land use of the thing. They don't have funding for these things. I mean, there's no money being allotted, even though we've requested that the government should fund, these mapping exercises. So people are virtually doing it on their own. But there's still a lot of excitement and still a lot of people taking it forward.